Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Nate, and welcome back to another weather forecast discussion, this time for March 6th, 2023. Now, if you're watching my videos for the first time after watching our multi-day severe weather outbreak coverage, boy oh boy, was that a long one, and boy oh boy, was it a pretty significant one. We've had widespread wind damage over that 3-day stretch from Wednesday to Friday. We had a bunch of tornadoes over those few days, and I'm hoping everyone is all right and safe as this storm finally moves on through the area. But before we get started with the video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe if you are new. So let's go to the convective outlooks here real quickly, just to kind of give you guys an up-to-date sense of what exactly we're anticipating severe weather-wise over the next 3 days. Trust me, it's not a whole lot. This is the day one. The light green areas are just general thunderstorms. Nothing too much except for the Ohio River Valley and the western portions of the United States. Moving on to our day two convective outlook here, which would be for Tuesday. You can see there's a 1 out of 5 in severe weather scale in the southern portions of Oklahoma and northern portions of Texas. Even though there's only one risk for severe weather here within this area, which is the hail risk, I think there could also be a little bit of a tornado risk here on this side. Maybe just some brief spin-ups, land spouts that are possible on the southwestern portion of the risk. So watch out for that. And then if we go over to the day three convective outlook, elongated 1 out of 5 in the severe weather scale here from southern Oklahoma all the way down into southwestern Texas, and nothing really too much from that. So if there's not a whole lot of severe weather going on, then how should I get into the nitty-gritty of things? Why am I starting to show you the jet stream or any of the other stuff that I'm going to show you in the live stream? Why should you continue to watch this? Things are going to get really interesting because it's going to be not so spring-like and more receding back into winter fashion style of weather here in a bit. And we'll start with the jet stream here. This is the 500 millibar wind shear, which is about 6 kilometers above ground level. Notice we have a big high pressure system over here in Mexico. This is creating a lot of clockwise flow. And then we have our what appears to be an atmospheric river, although I'm hesitant to say that because we realistically have a bunch of different low pressure systems that kind of travel along this. But I'll call it an atmospheric river for right now that is going to be moving through the western portions of the United States. And if you're on the West Coast, this video is more tailored to you, although we do have some stuff to talk about for the central and southeastern portions of the United States, maybe even northeast come to the end of the video. But a lot of very strong wind shear that is starting to kind of pile on through, and it stays there, and it continues to stay there for a long portion of time. The high pressure system barely even moves. If anything, it moves a little bit to the east, but you see this wind shear here from the jet stream continues to flow eastward, and it continues to sit over the same exact area. So what does this mean? Well, there's going to be a lot of moisture that's going to come to the western, United States. We're talking California, we're talking Nevada, we're talking Oregon, we're talking, Washington State, maybe even British Columbia as well. Granted, they might be a little bit too far north from this main action here, but a lot of moisture, including snow and flash flooding, could also bring issues for portions of the Sierras and the Cascades. So something to monitor with that. One thing I do want to mention here, as this does kind of continue to move on through, you notice that we do have a little bit of a low pressure system that's going to move through the Midwest here and into the Ohio Valley. This right here could potentially create just a little gaps of snow here, or intense snow bands here across portions of the northern plains as well as the Midwest, moving through from Thursday into Friday, and then lingering on through from Friday into Saturday. This could also create some severe weather over here for portions of the extreme southeast. This is going to continue to move on through to where we have kind of that first low pressure system that moves off, and then it just kind of is a little bit more of a lull period before, once again, deja vu, if you will, another band of intense wind shear, not as intense, I should say, but a strong wind shear moves on through, and we're expecting another band of moisture that is going to continue to hit the western portions of the United States. Meanwhile, we also have another band of severe weather that's going to move on through. We're talking not the middle, but the beginning of next week here. We're talking the 12th, 13th, maybe 14th, as this continues to move on through, and then just maybe some localized severe weather in that area before we could potentially start to talk about this giant thing over here, a big low pressure system that situates itself over the northeast. Not really too sure as to how that could flow out. We are very far ahead in the models, so the accuracy of this is pretty low, But if this thing continues to stay, I'll keep you guys up to date with the potential of maybe a storm of some sort over in the Northeast. We're talking the mid parts of next week, sometime around the 14th, 15th, and maybe even 16th. We'll switch over here because I want you guys to kind of get a general picture of why this all is. We're taking a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies here, which essentially takes a look at whether or not we've got high pressure systems and whether or not we got low pressure systems, and maybe even something a little bit in between. So those blues and greens are low pressures, your reds and pinks, and I don't even know what color that is over there along the northern portions of Canada and Greenland. Whatever that color is, that's a high pressure system over there. But let's first get a general grip as to what the flow is, and we'll start over here with Greenland and the northeastern Canada general vicinity. We have a big low pressure system out into the northern Atlantic. Remember, this creates counterclockwise flow over here, and then we have our high pressure system over here. This creates clockwise flow. So notice that our low pressure system and high pressure system on the eastern side of the high and the western side of the low, this is creating dual flow right here, heading into portions of Quebec and further off into Ontario and New England. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a giant streamline of cold air from this high pressure system to kind of suppress a lot of the stuff, a lot of that warm air that we recently have been feeling from what we thought was the beginning of spring, and it's going to kind of bring the temperatures back down a bit. We also notice that we've got a big low pressure system over here in the western United States. Remember, counterclockwise flow. And then we also have a high pressure system right here that is creating clockwise flow. So we now have dual wind shear, dual flow here on the western side of the low, the eastern side of the high, very similar to what we got over in the northeastern portions of Canada. And once you start to kind of get a decent idea as to what the general flow is like, then this can kind of be an aid as to how to predict where systems are going to go. Well, the one last thing for us to kind of dictate where the flow is look at this right here. See this right here? We have another high pressure system over here across the central portions and even the southeastern portions of the United States. So let's create our flow right here. We have clockwise flow right within here, and we also have dual flow right here, which this is going to be really interesting because we have flow that comes from the south here that is going to spin our low pressure system kind of from the east, so kind of from the south to the north. And then we've got another dual flow that's going from north to south, which is going to kind of hold this low pressure system in place for a bit. It's going to kind of not allow this low pressure system to move, which is kind of the reason why we've got that giant atmospheric river that's going to move on through. It's just sitting there for all of eternity. And watch this here as to what happens. Boom, we're talking Tuesday, we're talking Wednesday, we're talking Thursday. This thing continues to sit over until finally something gives. And what ends up giving is this high pressure system up here. Notice how it starts to recede a little bit further to the north, and we have a new area of low pressure that is going to try and come down from the south. Now, this is still going to kind of aid into that flow into portions of California, and it's not really going to change a whole lot, but still, we've got finally something different that will allow this to start to move a little bit further north, and we start to get another high pressure system that's going to kind of settle in here in the Eastern Pacific. Now, what this is also going to do is this isn't really going to help too much either, because watch what happens here. We've got our new flow, we've got our clockwise flow here with this high pressure, and this is going to aid flow into the western United States. So once again, we still got more flow into the western United States. We still got more moisture heading straight into that area. And with that being said, this is also going to be something really interesting here too, because you notice that with our clockwise flow, it's going to start to curl down south a little bit, which means that these low pressure systems are going to be kind of swayed by this flow here from the high pressure, and we're going to start to see some stuff that are going to cross the United States from the northwest to the south and east. So watch this here. Low pressure system right here going across the Great Lakes. This starts to kind of curl down south because our high pressure system starts to recede back in. And this is when stuff can start to see a bit of an active pattern. we're talking about from the middle of March to the late portions of March. But for right now, we got a lot of stuff that's going to be heading into the western portions of the United States, which means you guys over there, once again, California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, even British Columbia, all you guys need to watch out for the potential of flash flooding and maybe some heightened snowfall amounts. Now, to kind of further emphasize that a lot of that cold air is kind of going to be suppressing our flow, we're going to look at the highs of today from Monday, and you notice how high our temperatures actually recede further north. We got a lot of moisture return into portions of Hoosier Alley. We're talking the Ohio River Valley and southern portions of the Great Lakes. But watch this. We're starting to transition from Monday into Tuesday, and I want you guys to kind of notice where our highs go now. Look at that. That line of high temperatures in the 60s to 70s have receded further south. Let's go on to Wednesday. Let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. It's gone further south again. That cold air is continuing to slam a lot of this warm air, and it's starting to suppress it further south. So continuing here, Wednesday into Thursday. Look at this. Continuing to slam it further south. Got a lot more warm air that's going into portions of the South Central Plains, though, and that is the reason why there could be some lingering severe weather. We've mentioned Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe Thursday and Friday, there could potentially be some severe weather over there. Maybe not extreme impacts and stuff like that. We're talking general severe weather of large hail, maybe damaging winds. A tornado is possible. But then as we start to move on through into Friday and Saturday, notice here that we've got a bit of a front that's going to start to move on through here. Notice how we're going to have our temperatures that are going to kind of anchor to the side and curl off towards the north and east. So watch this there. See that? Boom. Front starts to move on through, and maybe some lingering severe weather from Friday night into Saturday, and even Saturday night is possible across portions of the southeast. So now we're going to kind of speed run the last part of this video, which is just all the specific stuff, but we're all going to do it as quickly as possible. So here's our total precipitation within a 24-hour span, and this is just going to kind of give you the gist as to how much precipitation you're going to get. First wave here towards the end of this week, Thursday into Friday, boom, big wave of rain starts to move on through, and you can see that some areas at most can see about 7 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rain. And then you're going to start to see here at the beginning of next week, lingering, rain here into Monday. Boom. We're talking another wave. We're talking 4 inches of rain as possible. And then we're talking the middle of next week. Boom. Another wave. We're talking 6 inches of additional rain as possible. And so we're getting a lot of precipitation across the board within that area. A lot of snow is also forecasted. According to this model, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but 200 inches of snow is also possible in the higher elevations. We're talking in the Sierras. And some of the other areas here, we're talking about a foot of snow to even 2 feet. And then, of course, if you're in the extreme higher elevations, I mean, at that point, who knows how much snow you're going to get. You're just going to get, just know you're going to get a lot of snow. All right, that's the one certainty there from that event. We'll move off into what's going to happen in the upper plains and the upper Midwest. You can see that for the band that's going to occur in the later portions of the week, we could see about 5 to 8 inches, maybe 8 to 12 inches in some localized spots. Watch out for that. And then, of course, in the Rockies, you guys can see that you guys are going to get a plethora of snow, especially from the lingering impacts of each wave that's going to hit the western portions of the United States. Move off to the severe weather here. All right, let's go specifics for severe weather. Let's see what we got here for Wednesday. Strong wind shear aloft here in the upwards of about, I would say, 50 to 60 knots here at 500 millibars. So once again, 6 kilometers above ground level. This is our jet stream that's moving on through. Moisture, we got a lot of moisture here. The only thing that's really holding back this event is the fact that we don't really have that classic low pressure system that's moving on through with this big cold front that's moving about. Not really too much to worry about there. There is a boundary there though. So some weird stuff could occur off of that boundary. Maybe some spin up tornadoes are possible. We'll move off to the simulated reflectivity to kind of show you what I mean by this. And we're approaching Tuesday night. And where are the thunderstorms? There's barely any. That's kind of the main issue with this event. It's the fact that there just really isn't a whole lot of stuff to set those thunderstorms off. You can move off on a Wednesday and it'll tell you the exact same thing. You just got some general scattered showers and thunderstorms that are moving off on a Wednesday night. So not really too much with that. We'll go to the simulated reflectivity here, heading off from Friday into Saturday. Notice that we've got a lot of our rain that's going to kind of move on through, lingering snow into the Great Lakes, and this is going to kind of create a lingering boundary. You'll see a low pressure system form off on the East Coast. And what lingers behind, once again, is that aforementioned boundary. So that boundary might be something to watch out for. And then a little bit later on, we're talking in the beginning of the week, next week, another band of precipitation. I'm pretty sure this is a low pressure system that's going to move on through here into the southeast again. Same exact thing. It's going to create this little bit of a boundary. It's going to linger on through from Sunday night into Monday, and from Monday into Tuesday as well. The threat for severe weather there is possible before, once again, we start to think about the potential of something up here in the northeast in the middle of next week. So that was a lot of stuff. I understand if you didn't get all of it. If you have any questions, please put it down in the comments. I'm willing to answer them to the best of my ability. And if you have any questions, please be sure to contact me on my Discord. The link is also in the description down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family on social media. Also follow me on social media. Link will be in the description down below. Stay safe, everyone. I will catch you guys on Wednesday when we will upload again to update you guys on whatever that thing on the western side of the United States is. That's a lot of shenanigans over there that is going to be moving on through. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.